Hey there, my name is Pete Pickerel. I work in product management at Liquibase, and I get the distinct pleasure of introducing you to Liquibase Hub. So what the heck is Liquibase Hub? I'll start with the short answer. The Hub makes it ridiculously easy to organize, monitor, and visualize your Liquibase activity, and it lets you view that data in pretty much any context you could want. With Liquibase Hub, you can track operations across database connections and change logs, or you can start by looking at a change log and seeing what connections it's been applied to, what the change sets are, or what operations apply to it. Or maybe you want to start with the connection and find some of the same information, see what change logs have been used to update that connection, look at the operations associated with the connection. We also allow you to organize your connections and your change logs into projects. And within projects or pipelines that give you a comparative status view across environments. This helps you easily understand what's been deployed where, what hasn't, and when it was deployed. And finally, we're automatically gathering key information across all of your projects, connections, and change logs so you can better understand where you're performing well and where you might have some room for improvement. Liquibase Hub provides teams of any size and any number of places with free, centralized API-driven visibility into your efforts to version, apply, and track database change at any scale. With Liquibase Hub, you'll know more sooner. And now, let's take a closer look at Liquibase Hub. The goal of Liquibase Hub is to get you information quickly, whether you're trying to determine the status of a single database or see maybe the differences between two databases or understand better the outcome of a specific operation. As such, the first thing you see when you log into Liquibase Hub will be this kind of favorites page. As you're going through and using the application, in most pages, and you'll see this in the mockups, have little stars in the upper right corner. And if you click one of those stars, it's going to build a link and put it on this page. That's kind of indicating next time I come here, I just want to click that link to get to it and not go through the navigation. Now, that's not to say the navigation is complicated. What we've tried to do is provide a simple, repetitive experience through the various contextual views of the data that are collected about your Liquibase activity. And there's a couple of ways you can control that context. The first level of context is whether you're working on your own stuff or maybe as part of an organization. An organization is essentially just a connection of change logs and databases and any projects you create and the people that use all of those things. It's just a way to compartmentalize some of your work. Maybe your company has an organization represented in Liquibase Hub, and everybody in your company that uses Liquibase is one of the members of that. For the rest of this demo, we'll stay in the user context. And then the second level of context is what angle you want to look at that data from. So we've got projects, which are an invention of Liquibase Hub, and a project is essentially a collection of a change log, the connections it applies to, and the people that work as part of that effort. And you can also look at things starting from the changelog point of view. You can look at things starting at the connection point of view. You can get a general overview of operations, or you can be looking at our insights dashboard, which is kind of representative views into the aggregated data of everything you're doing with Liquibase. We'll start with the project view so I can kind of demonstrate the flow through it. So once you've narrowed things down to looking at it from the project perspective, you'll have a list of all of your available projects here. Again, this one's favorited, so it appears on our home page. You can also see here that it's favorited as well. But when you expand this, you see the concepts that are related to this project. So you're able to look at the operations that pertain to this project. You're able to see the changelog that's associated with this project. And within that changelog view, you can filter down the change sets to a smaller list or find an individual change set. And you can look at as little or as much data about those change sets as you want. So things we would include here, things like labels and contacts and which changelog file it's actually a part of, the comment that's associated with that change set. There'll probably also be some representation of what's contained in that change set. Is it a create table? Is it a SQL file? Is it, whatever kind of refactoring type it is, we'll have a representation of that here. The next sort of Liquibase Hub only concept is a pipeline. And really what a pipeline is an ordered collection of environments. Think of a Jenkins pipeline where you change flows from your integration environment to your QA environment to your UAT environment to your stage environment to your production environment. It's meant to represent that kind of flow of database changes through a pipeline. So the connections will be ordered, and you can look at a comparative status across those connections in reference to the change log. So you'll be able to see individual change sets, where they have been applied, where they haven't been applied, and you can see, the latest activity as part of these. And this is a really handy view if you want to understand, prior to that production push, what all is pending and is going to be part of that next update, so you can plan appropriately. It's also a really handy view that you can use when you're having differences between two environments and you don't know why. You can quickly see whether all of the change sets have been applied to a given environment to see if the database is maybe a culprit in that difference in behavior. So it's just a really quick, easy way to kind of drill in and see what's going on from environment to environment and across environments. You can also look at things in context of an individual connection, and it's got its own status view where it's really just this connection and the changelog associated with the project. You also get a link to the operation that led to this change set being part of, being deployed on this connection. And you can sort things and show things just to kind of drill down into the specific information you need over time. And again, you can expand this to take a look at that information. You can collapse it if you just want to look at titles to get to what you're looking for more quickly. It's a very sort of repetitive view into that. Again, the same thing for connections, only now we're looking at projects that it belongs to, we're looking at operations, and we're looking at change logs. And it's very much, you can see that the navigation is all very familiar from the other contextual views into this data. Like I said, we really just want to make it easy to get to the information you need by putting this three-part contextualization into the navigation. You've also got a general view of operations if you just want to look at everything all at once, and we'll have, we're still developing the filters that will help you narrow down what you're looking for in terms of operations, so you can quickly get to what you want to get to. And because we're aggregating all of this data, we'll have insights into everything across your organization or across the things you're working on as an individual user. And really, this is sort of based on the 4 key metrics of DevOps. We're going to, track change set lead time. How long does it take a change set when it enters the system to, get to that production deployment, to that terminus? How often are we updating our databases? How often are those updates failing? And also, how long does it take for us to recover from a failed update? If we have a failed update, when's that next successful update using Liquibase? So it's really going to be a way to kind of track where you're doing well, where you might have room for improvement, and also measure your successes. See how you're doing over time, how you're improving in terms of deployment frequency and failed deployments over time. That was a very quick run through of what we have to offer in Liquibase Hub. I appreciate you taking the time to check it out today. And as always, we'd love to hear from you on this. If there's anything that's missing, if there's anything you think we need to tweak, if there's anything you need clarification on, we'd be more than happy to help you.